Hi, my name is Mary Ellen Collins, and I'm the founder of the Motherless Daughters Ministry. I want to talk to you about 10 things to do while you're in God's waiting room. This is where I'm at right now. Waiting, waiting, waiting. I know Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us he has made everything beautiful, beautiful in its own time. He's also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God does from the beginning to the end. God does everything right and on time. If I haven't met you yet, I just thank you for the privilege of you spending your time with me today as I bring to you this forum for you. I want to encourage you to involve others and certainly comment on anything that we have to say to you. I am there. I'm in God's waiting room. That's where I'm at. Waiting rooms are not my favorite place to be. Just think about how much time we spend waiting. We wait in doctor's offices. We wait to be served in restaurants. We wait in line at Disney World for a few seconds of entertainment. But I'll tell you, just the other day, I hurried so I would not be late for an appointment. Now, I hate to be late. When I walked in, please take a seat and someone will be with you shortly. And so I did. Several people came in after me and they were asked to take a seat also. But they didn't sit very long until someone came out and escorted them to their appointment. Then someone came to get the next and the next and the next until there was only me waiting. I went up to the desk. Just checking, I asked, but I've been waiting for over 40 minutes and others who have come in before me have already been waited on. Your provider will be with you shortly. When she when she did come, I was as angry as a wet hen. Now, isn't that what happens in waiting rooms? What happens is we often think we've been forgotten. We get out of sorts because we feel neglected. We certainly don't understand what the other side of the story may be. Well, I am in God's waiting room right now. I am experiencing a range of emotions from anger to depression, lots of tears, anxiety. God, have you forgotten me? I'm waiting. Please give me some insight into your plan. Silence. Silence. When we think God is not hearing us, we're really tempted to take action. Take it back and out of God's hand? No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Wait. So I sit here waiting. But what do we have to do to wait on God? It takes more faith waiting than initiative does. There are a lot of things that you and I both need to remember when we're waiting on God, and we need to know what to do. When we have asked God for something and it hasn't happened yet, and we're in that delay period in the waiting room, we have to remember these 10 things. One is that we have to remember there's a natural delay between planting and harvesting. We will always get results in a different season. If you're a gardener like I have been in my life, you know, if you plant seeds, you don't go out the next day and they're growing. It takes a time for it to grow. And we reap in a different season than we sow. We have to wait in faith. We have to remember there is an unseen battle going on in a realm that we don't even understand. We are caught right in the middle, and we can experience doubt, and discouragement, and depression. But we've got to remember delay is not a denial. We have to remember God is preparing us for his blessing. God has a bigger and better answer for me. He wants to get me ready. Waiting is always a test, testing my faith. When you are going through the fire, and that's what it feels like when we're waiting, we don't want to stop. We want to just keep on going and get out of the fire. Waiting will build a character, it will build trust and faith. We have to remember we're in good company while we're in the waiting room. Millions have sat where you and I are both sitting. All of the saints before me have been right where I am at right now. I'm in good company. We have to remember also that God always keeps his promises. I have to do this, and I know you have to do this too. Don't focus on what I can't do. Focus on what God can do. God has some things he wants to teach you and I before the seeds sprout. We have to write those things down that we're learning. For me, I have to write it down or I forget them. So I will keep that journal. And waiting is a good time to memorize scripture. You know, my favorite one is trust the Lord in all you do and lean not onto your own understanding. I have to write down the lessons I'm learning. Waiting is always the season to learn and to listen. God has some things he wants to teach you while you're in the waiting room. Write them down so you don't forget them. Remember that the way to the promised land is through the wilderness. So while you're in the waiting room, it feels like the wilderness, but the only way there is to go through the wilderness. This one, number 9, is really hard for me. Act as if I already have it. This is called faith. Normally, I wonder, I worry, and I whine. How, Lord? When, Lord? Why, Lord? You know, sometimes I think he really just gets fed up with me. He tolerates me. But you have to believe it. You received it, and it will be yours. Mark 11:24, you know, is a good example. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Waiting is not being passive. You're waiting in faith. Act as though you already have it. And number 10 is imitate the habits that grow faith. So one of the things is to find a stronger Christian and imitate their faith. When in the waiting room, don't put life on hold. Waiting is a time to develop new habits and skills you're going to use later on. All of the saints before you and I have been there. I'm in good company. I see you. You are waiting too. I pray you have the patience to wait and learn what God wants you to do. I've been sitting in that waiting room and I am going to be patient. Have a wonderful week and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.